I'm at $13,000 a month. What more do you want from me? Oh my God.
Okay, so I'm gonna level with you guys. It's been like 2 hours. I've been trying to film this video and I just keep failing. Like, I don't know, I just can't get into my groove. I took a break and had breakfast and I felt a little bit better, but it's just, nope. Hopefully I get into it, but anyway, I'm back and hello everybody. I am not dead yet today in the Superman robe as is tradition because I am going over Greg Doucette's Anabolic Cookbook, Meatless book. We're leaving that in. Yeah, so he did make another one, this time for the vegetarians and for the vegans out there. And I'm here to kind of give you a general overview of the presentation of the book, the recipes, what the book kind of entails, and what I think the book is more good for, less good for, etc. The price is booked at... I'm leaving that in too. The book is priced at $100 on Greg... Actually, $99 on GregDoucette.com. However, if you... bought a previous version of the book, of any of his anabolic cookbooks like I did, you will receive an email in the email. Oh my god, man. You will receive an email with a discount code for 50% off, which is really nice because it helps poor people like me buy the book. But speaking about being poor and not being able to afford the book, full disclosure, I was actually sent the book for free a little bit early to do this review. Yeah, so I was originally actually not going to buy the book. I couldn't afford it. Greg Doucette always says if his prices are steep, and if you can't afford it, do not buy it, and that's exactly what I was going to do. However, he reached out to me in the DMs and said, hey, what's your email? I'm going to send you over a copy of the book. And I, again, infinitely grateful. Thank you very much, Greg. I would not be doing this video if you didn't do that. He was also very chat about the whole thing because, like, he just asks for the email, and I give it to him, and I ask why. And it takes him a few minutes to reply, and obviously that's relatively fair. I mean, he's a busy man, but I like to think of it as like him just being a Giga Chad, where he just shows up, asks for your email, refuses to elaborate, sends cookbook, leaves. But with that out of the way, yes, I was sent this for free, so if you think that invalidates every single opinion I hold and that I won't say anything bad about the book, all power to you. Hopefully you still watch to the end because this video has taken way more effort than it logically should have. But I mean, I literally just said that the book is pretty steep in price and that I wouldn't be buying it because I'm just not in the position to buy it, you know. But that opinion doesn't matter, does it? Normally, I would speak about customer service, but again, I've got nothing to say. I was given the book for free! Woo! So about the presentation of the book, I think it's really great. The main color scheme of it is green, and you even have Coach Greg on the front with this big green apron holding a bowl of veggies, and I think it's great. It adds a lot to the kind of personality of the book, sets it apart from the others, like, ooh, this is the vegan one. I know it's kind of stereotypical, but I mean, hey, if it works, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. This book is divided into two big categories that have a bunch of subcategories. You have the vegan recipe section and the vegetarian recipe section, with each section having a breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, and snacks subdivisions in all of them. There is a lot of recipes here. This book is almost 200 pages long, 197 to be exact, and there are a lot of things about this. You have your typical about Greg Doucette's and your message from Coach Greg, frequently asked questions. However, they add something here that I just know that the Iron Musket is going to have a field day with, and it's this little section that goes, why the recipe isn't working, and it gives two tips, and it's, if your mixture consistency is too thin, add a small amount of guar gum or a thickening agent, or use a protein powder that makes it slightly thicker, and if it's too thick, you add a little bit of liquid, either water or nut milk or whatever, or you use a protein powder to make it thinner. And I can just see the Iron Musket laughing his ass off, pointing out thank you, Captain Obvious. What are you going to tell us, that the sky is blue, that water is wet, and that boxers punch for a living, right? Take your low-calorie bread! Which, that's actually, that's not actually my Greg Doucette impression. My Greg Doucette impression is way better than that. It's my impression of the Iron Musket doing a Greg Doucette impression. Impressionception, but below the recipe isn't working thing, they do have a protein powder thickness guide, which I actually do like, where it shows you the different levels of thickness that you will get with different proteins. However, one thing that I am rather disappointed in this is the fact that thick is spelt properly. You know it's supposed to be spelt with 2 C's at least. We want a guide from thick with 2 C's to thin with 3 N's, okay? That is the thick and thinness scale. But aside from that, I think this is a great addition. Awesome. So if you scroll down, we have the fibro mixing chart, which I don't think I'll be able to show you. I'll show you the title though, and I don't really I can't say much about that because I haven't bought Fibro yet. I have to mention again that I am poor and I just don't have enough money to afford all of these supplements or whatever. But again, if I were to have it, I'm sure this would be incredibly useful. Again, this is Greg's product, and so he's the best person who is well equipped. Man, really not speaking well today. He's the person who is best equipped to tell you how to use the dang stuff. But we get into the vegan recipe section, and honestly, I am very impressed with all of the recipes in this book. The presentation is superb in general. It seems to be a mixture of every book to date. Everything Greg learns, he seems to add on in the next book, and he takes every book as a learning process, and he seems to kind of take the feedback, hear what people have to say, hear what people want, and give it to them. So this strikes me as a good mix of, in terms of presentation, Anabolic Cookbook 2.0 as well as Power 13. You have some similar presentation styles to the second Anabolic Cookbook with pictures, the title screens, the difficulties, everything from Power 13, along with pictures for every single recipe. And these pictures are beautiful. I love them, and a lot of them really entice you to make the recipe. For example, I was scrolling down, and just these vegan balls here. Yes, I am very interested in vegan balls. They look amazing, they look delicious, and they really do entice you to make the recipe. Another thing I really love about this cookbook is the little punny titles that he has for some of the recipes, like his Vanabolic French toast, vegan anabolic French toast, VEA-NOT butter, as opposed to, first of all, it was PEA-NOT butter, but now since it's vegan PEA-NOT butter, VEA-NOT butter, and little things like that, or Gregamame, as opposed to Adamame. And so I really like it because it adds a lot of personality to the book, and that's something you kind of come to expect when you buy a Greg Doucette cookbook. It makes the book more fun to read. I can sit through this, and obviously I'm not going to read it like a magazine or read it like a comic book or whatever, but it does add a little bit of personality and make the book a little bit more fun to read. It makes you feel like there's someone cooking there with you, you know? Now, in terms of recipes, there are a ton of variety in this book, and probably one of the most varied cookbooks Greg has put out to date, despite the fact that it has the limitation of being vegetarian/vegan, which really does impress me. You have pad thai, chilies, soups, spaghetti and cheese, you have skewers, and all other kinds of things, from sweet and to savory. I am genuinely impressed with the variety of this book, and like I said in my Anabolic Cookbook 2.0 versus Power 13 book, as much as there were a ton of recipes in Anabolic Cookbook 2.0, they were rather derivative of each other. Here, it seems like there are so many different kinds of recipes, from desserts to everything else, that the variety genuinely does impress me. If you are worried that this is going to be relatively samey buying a vegan cookbook, that is something you do not have to worry about in the slightest. There are a ton of varied recipes to satisfy whatever you seem to be feeling on that day. When it comes to variety, there are going to be some recipes that, again, I know that the Iron Musket is probably going to have a field day with. There's a bunch of rice cake recipes, which some people kind of roll their eyes at, but again, some people enjoy simplicity, but the one that I know the Iron Musket will most likely make fun of, whether it makes it into his video or not, because, by the way, the Iron Musket and I actually received our cookbooks around the same time, and so I'm trying to film this and get this out before he gets his out, and he's already got a head start. We got it last night, and I kind of got it, looked over, went to bed. Josh, he started filming right away. He was filming to the wee hours of the morning. The discipline on that guy is insane. So I have taken some massive behind, so in order to kind of catch up, I phoned the Deep South and hired a mariachi band to follow Josh around and distract him, and so whether or not I get my video out before his will be the determining factor to decide whether or not that actually worked. Let me know if it did or not in the comments below, and let me know if it did or not in his comment section too. Send him some love, he deserves it. But the two recipes I know that Josh is going to make fun of and laugh at, whether on camera or not, are the VEA-NOT butter and jam Sammy, which is literally just a peanut butter sandwich with his vegan peanut butter, his VEA-NOT butter, and the VEA-NOT butter and banana sandwich. This is like, you know Anabolic Cookbook 2.0, right? This is like the Anabolic grilled cheese 2.0 when it comes to easiness. It's like, take your low-calorie bread, put the peanut butter on it, and then put your jam on it, and boom, there you go, jam sandwich. Like, I mean, and listen, I'm not mad because, like, why not put it in there, right? Why not? It's 2 recipes out of some incredibly creative recipes. Although, Greg, come on. Peanut butter and jam Sammy at a medium difficulty. What mentally deficient person is going to have trouble making a peanut butter and jam sandwich? Like, what do you... Oh, wait. You know, honestly speaking, now that I think of it, in that one sentence alone, I just roasted, like, a few people in this industry, because there are a few people who have actually had trouble making a peanut butter and jam sandwich, or an anabolic peanut butter and jam sandwich. That joke was not scripted. I didn't plan for that one. Anyway. Yeah, so medium difficulty apparently. And the banana one. So it's not even a jam sandwich, the banana one. It's just, you take your peanut butter, you put it on bread. He doesn't even toast the bread in the sandwich. You don't even toast, there's not even a chance to burn the thing. You just take it, you put it on your bread, you slice the bananas, and you put it, what is easier than that? I'm genuinely, what is easier than that? Oh, I see. I found an easy recipe. Apple Dip Delight. So you literally just make the dip and dip apple slices into it. It's okay. Yeah, I guess compared to that, just dipping apples in something that you mix in a bowl, putting the spread onto bread would be a little bit more medium. No, you don't have to use apples. Really? Okay, thank goodness. I was terrified that if I ran out of apples and I tried to make the Apple Dip Delight with something like mangoes, Greg would just send a SWAT team to shoot me on sight. It's the second that mango touches the dip, it's boom! You just see the fucking red dot sight and I'm just gone. Taken out. But Greg has confirmed that will not happen. For a more filling snack, use... Okay, Greg, I'm sorry. I normally I liked the Greg's tips in the Power 13 book as opposed to Josh. But I mean, come on, for a more filling snack, use more apples. Like, okay, I get... Okay, no, to be fair to him, he does say which is only 50 to 100 additional calories, so it's like one of those things where it's like, don't be scared to have more. Apples are very low in calories, but it's just, it's kind of funny, you know? Like, if you want it to be more filling, eat more. But immediately after that, you get something that really made my eyebrows go, whoa, and he has a blooming onion recipe in here, which is something that I never thought would be made like low calorie or anabolic, because like blooming onions are rolled in a bunch of batter and deep fried, and yet he somehow was able to make a blooming onion 330 calories with 1 gram of fat. Wow. When you scroll down into the appetizers, because the appetizers are what impressed me the most, like, the creativity in this book, to me, is unmatched. This book is the most creative one we have seen to date. Like, even these pizza pockets, which, again, they do, like, it's a pizza pocket, right? Like, you put your low-calorie meat substitute with your low-calorie cheese and whatever, right? But even still, like, for people who just love pizza pops and want to try and recreate that, I can see this being a staple thing. For example, if you're kids who love, what are those called? Yeah, pizza pops. Make these instead. I'm sure they'll be just as good. I mean, I'm just looking at them, and from the look of these pictures, I'm about to be down astronomically, if you know what I mean. So, like, there's a recipe in here for everybody. From things like stuff that you used to have as a kid or your kids want to have, versus some things that are a little bit more complex that you can take to, say, a potluck or a family dinner. The creativity and the presentation in this cookbook, in my opinion, is unmatched. You can't put a blanket label on this one, because, again, when I reviewed the Anabolic Cookbook 2.0 versus Power 13, I said that the Power 13 book has a lot more variety and a lot more pizzazz versus the Power 13 book, or versus the Anabolic Cookbook 2.0, which has a lot more simple recipes that are derivative of each other. So if you're someone who likes routine, you can get that. This is a generally good all-around cookbook. It has everything from main meals to appetizers to desserts to snacks, and all of them to varying degrees of difficulty and varying degrees of changeability that can really give you whatever you want whenever you're feeling it. It is impressive. Funky monkey pudding. Like, look at this.
Monkey.
The little monkey on the top entices you to want to try it. At least it does to me. Like, I was scrolling through just seeing which recipes caught my eye, and then to see the little smiling monkey face, it catches your eye. And so, obviously, again, like all the other cookbooks, you can click the table of contents to take you to literally any recipe. Navigation is easy. You have a button that sends you back to the table of contents. Everything is fine with that. They have a new PROTEINSICLES recipe, so for those who love PROTEINSICLES, you get that. They have MOOSE-SICLES. And as a Canadian, I know a lot about MOOSE-SICLES. It's so hard to summarize each part in a concise way. You just kind of got to get it to see for yourself. And take my word for it, you will not be disappointed in the variety that you get. However, in my opinion, there is one thing that I can say to kind of summarize this book in its entirety for people who kind of are looking for, well, what is this book, right? If you are vegan and vegetarian and you are looking for, you know, anabolic recipes, if you're a follower of Coach Greg, I would 100% recommend this book. There is so much in here for you that I can definitely see spicing up your diet, especially if things are starting to kind of get old, you know. Whatever, I'm not vegan, I don't know, meat is literally my favorite food. I do not care what kind, give me meat and I will enjoy it, just like how I enjoy suckling mooses. But the way I see this cookbook, and the way the cookbook struck me as someone who isn't vegan and who has bought other cookbooks before, so this little section of the video is for people who are going, well, I'm not vegan and I already have one of Greg's other cookbooks, why would I buy this one, is that this one to me is like the ultimate side dish cookbook. Because I know a lot of people, especially in this bodybuilder community that I find myself in, don't seem to like vegetables. Everyone tries to avoid vegetables, even though Greg talks about how you should eat your veggies. I just see a lot of people demonizing veggies. The whole chicken, broccoli, and rice, hold the broccoli, right? I am simple, man. I am very, very simple. Simple Russian, man. I have my protein, I have my carbs, and I have my vegetable. You give me that along with some vodka and I am happy, man. If I get to punch people in face because I like boxing, that's a very good plus too. But this cookbook, it allows you to spice up your diet. You get to, like, if you are tired of having boring old salad, come to Russia, because boring old salad in good old USSR is you are rich. You are high society if you eat salad. In USSR, you filthy capitalists in the United States, you need cookbooks to help you lose weight. You need books that give you food to help you lose weight. In the good old Soviet Russia, we just don't eat, we starve like a true communist. But if you are a filthy fat capitalist pig and you need to be filthy skinny capitalist swine as opposed to fat capitalist pig, buy this cookbook because it will help you spice up your diet while giving you the macro and micronutrients you need and not ignoring certain food groups like some idiots do. We ignore all food groups because we are communist. Every food group is equal. We starve together, comrade. But if you're not a communist, and you want to have a balanced diet, and you eat meat, or you have the other cookbooks, I see this as the perfect accompaniment to something like the Anabolic Cookbook 2.0. If you have the Anabolic Cookbook 2.0 and you have recipes that you really enjoy, there are a lot of foods here that can either be made in bulk, to be portioned out as side dishes for bigger meals, or there are a lot of side dishes that you can kind of make in bulk and then portion out with versatility, extreme versatility. I see this as kind of like the perfect support book to all of the other anabolic cookbooks. They can work as standalone meals if you want, but I think their true strengths shine when you pair them with other meals, and they help complete the circle, right? Like, let's say you're having a sloppy Greg, that name, man, that name. So let's say you're having an open-faced sloppy Greg, but you just aren't satisfied with that. You need more. You know, the sloppy Greg wasn't sloppy enough for you. You can take one of these side dishes and mash it together with the sloppy Greg to truly give you that overall sense of supreme satisfaction. And that is how I see the book. So in order to summarize, I basically see this book as a good middle ground between the Anabolic Cookbook 2.0 and the Power 13 book. You have the massive recipe count of the Anabolic Cookbook 2.0 coupled with the insane variety of the Power 13 book. And you have, for vegans, this is incredible, but even for people who do eat meat, these meals serve as great side dishes and great complements to meals that actually do have meat in them. And if you are someone who owns one or all of Greg's other cookbooks, I basically see this one as the final piece of Exodia, where you kind of use it to complete everything and make sure that your diet truly is a circle, all-encompassing, fully rounded, and perfect. So yeah, in buying this book, you not only get a bunch of versatile and delicious vegan and vegetarian recipes that complement perfectly the other recipes in the other books, but you also get to support Greg and whose ever creator's link you use to buy the actual book with. Mine is in my description, by the way. But in speaking of support, Greg has announced on his Instagram that anybody who has 5,000 followers or more on any platform has the possibility of being sponsored fully by HTLT subs. Remember how I said I'm kind of poor and can't afford any of those supplements? Well, yeah, my dream and my goal is to be fully sponsored by HTLT subs, and that is actually why I screenshotted that story, was to give me motivation to continue to push to achieve that goal. So what I ask of you, if you made it this far into the video, you clearly liked it, you clearly, appreciated me talking about this book for however long this video is. So in return, could you just simply like and subscribe and maybe share the video around to help me achieve that goal? I would greatly appreciate it. If you also want to support me like some of these fine people over here, you can also check out my PayPal, Patreon, as well as the links to HTLT subs and GregDoucette.com. The Patreon gives you some really interesting and awesome rewards depending on which tier you pick, and if you buy this book specifically with my link, not with my code, yes, you do not get a discount code, I am just as heartbroken as you are, but if you use my code, I get 10% of the price of the book. So if you buy this book, I get $10, $9 actually, but $10. So, that's not too bad. And yeah, until next time, I am not dead yet, and if you aren't either, there is always a tomorrow waiting for you.